What's up? How y'all doing, beautiful people? It's your boy Vinny Dangerous, and I'm back with the 10th. Wow, we're 10 episodes into this thing, but I'm back with the 10th episode of the Dangerous Minds podcast. And I took a week off last week. There were some things that I was planning on doing, last week that was going to keep me away, and I wasn't going to be able to do the show the way I wanted to. What I wanted to do didn't pan out like I wanted it to. So I didn't get to do that, but I'd already said I wasn't doing a show. I wasn't prepared. By the time, I realized that I wasn't going to be doing what I planned on doing. So I decided to take a week off. But let me tell y'all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody that's been giving me real positive feedback about the show. People were tuned in, trying to catch the show. They thought it was going to be on last week. And people was really giving me positive feedback for the show I did with Ashanti Turner. And so I really wanted to say, thank you for that. I plan on doing more male and female segments that we can have those kind of, topics. And, since that one got a lot of feedback, got a lot of positive feedback, then we definitely going to be doing that later. So I really appreciate everybody for showing me love. So this week I've, been reintroduced to a topic because of a particular person and this controversy he's been going through. Nate Parker has been in the news this week, and he has been getting the Bill Cosby treatment. And I really hope it doesn't get that bad, but he's been getting the Bill Cosby treatment, and it's looking that it might end up derailing the movie that was supposed to be coming out not too long from now, The Birth of a Nation, the Nat Turner story. And I can say first and foremost, that was personally a movie that I was looking forward to. And, especially after the success it got in the Sundance Festival back in January, and the way that people talked about it, got a standing ovation at the showing, and it either is already being considered Oscar worthy. So it's just crazy that this movie could be tainted as great, or because I haven't seen the movie personally, but from what I've been hearing about it, and the way people have been talking about that movie and supporting the movie, people have been coming out and saying that it's definitely something that is going to be Oscar worthy once it comes out. So I can't wait to see it, and I still plan on seeing it, but this particular situation is taken away from the movie. It's taking shots at the man, and it has a possibility to ruin this man's reputation. Now, before I go any further with this, let me, let it be known right now, I do not condone, rapists, people that take advantage of you, that, no means no at the end of the day. I'm a firm believer of that. No means no. Fellas, if she say no, you put your hands up and you stand up like the police got a gun in your back. That's always been my motto. I don't want no confusion. I don't want no, well, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. You tell me no, I'm backing up, I'm putting on my pants, and I'm heading home. I ain't gonna really give you an option to, but wait, maybe no. You say no one time, I'm out the door. You're gonna have to probably make your mind up before we get back to that if you're trying to go back to that. But right now, you ain't worth jail time for me, baby. And so, but with that being said, I don't know the facts of this situation all out. I was not in that room in 1999, because this case dates back to 1999. That's 17 years ago, and he was acquitted. So legally, they say he's innocent. Now, we all know that the justice system in America is bullshit. I mean, just, look at the countless police officers that just walk away free with a slap on their wrist whenever they shoot down innocent people for no fucking reason. So we know that the judicial system is full of shit. But, just like you people tell me that, what happens in the courtroom should just be upheld. If it says that he is innocent, if he was, let go and all the charges are dropped, he didn't settle out of court, the charges, weren't like just dropped because the girl didn't feel like going to court or nothing like that, or just, something, or they tried to threaten the witness or whatever. He went to court, he stood trial, and he was acquitted. I mean, in a way, that should be the end of it, but it's just, that happened 17 years ago. Apparently, recently, the victim's brother comes out and says that, he doesn't want a rapist celebrated, and lets it be known that the victim, his sister, committed suicide. Now, let me say, I really do want to share my condolences. With this episode, I'm not looking to disrespect the victim of, the alleged victim. Because that'd be disrespect to the dead, and I'm just not that type of person. Of course, she's not here to tell her story, so it's like, it's a lot of things that's up in the air. I'm not trying to accuse anybody of fibbing or lying and nothing like that. But, it's just kind of weird that this man has done a lot of movies. He's done Red Tails. He did Beyond the Lights, which was very successful. He did The Great Debaters. He's been on a lot of movies. And there's one thing I noticed about Nate Parker, other than he also has hands-on with a lot of his projects. Like, he's really involved with the roles he takes. And you can kind of see that once you have that kind of power, because he's willing to, he only really does roles that are prolific. I have been an avid person that has been against the same old slave narrative. I'm tired. I don't like The Help. I don't like 12 Years a Slave. I don't even like the Django like that. It's just, the same old slave narrative. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing my people. Oh, The Butler. Yeah, that movie. That's the one I was thinking about. All those movies that got so much praise. People were so like, oh my God, this is great. Whenever our story is being told and is deemed Oscar or award worthy, it is always the slave narrative. We never get any props. I mean, just look at what happened when they put out Selma. They put out the movie Selma, and it should have swept the fucking nominations. But it didn't win a single award. It wasn't even nominated. It was nominated for Common and John Legend's song for the soundtrack. That's as much recognition as Selma got. Just because the only movies that get those awards are those slave narratives and shit. And, rewinding it back, when I see Nate Parker's catalog of the stuff he's been in, he's always played a strong black role, and he's always been in these movies that show us in a different light, like Red Tails, like Great Debaters. Even Beyond the Lights is a dope, story that's kind of outside of, the normal, love story, between, she's famous and he's an everyday man. It's kind of like The Bodyguard, except, Whitney Houston doesn't fall in love with a white dude this time. So, with that being said, when this story came out, like I said, I'm not calling anybody a liar, but this is the thing. This is the way I look at it. The same way I looked at Bill Cosby's situation, and the same thing the same thing I said when the Afrika Bambaataa situation came out. And if people don't know about that, I can fill you in on that. But all those three things came in common is that as soon as it hit the news, these people are getting crucified. Now I need all of you feminists that don't know when to admit that you may be wrong, because when, last year Bill Cosby was getting shitted on. He was getting just thrown, dragged through the mud. He's a rapist. There's all the memes about him, taking jump shots of putting, roofie drugs or whatever in, a champagne glass, like he's shooting a basketball. It was funny. But it's like, the fact that this man's reputation is in the dirt. It's all over the news. It's all over the papers. Bill Cosby's legacy is dead. And you go 1 year later, and I think at this point, all of the charges and all of the victims are either recanting their stories, or the charges are being dropped. Now they're like, well, shit, we can't get no money out of them. Because, you can't get no money out of them, so now all of a sudden, now we're going to just drop the charges. Oops, my bad. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Like, if you look back, because you're not seeing that on the news. People are not putting that all over the paper. They're not saying that Bill Cosby's victorious in all of these charges, because he has not been convicted for a single charge that he was being plastered all over every single publication for. And everybody was so quick to write Bill Cosby off. I say, until you show me the facts, I'm not going at him. And that's the same thing what happened with Afrika Bambaataa. See, what happened with Afrika Bambaataa is that there's a lot of people coming out. I think it was like earlier this year or late last year, but people have been coming out basically saying that Afrika Bambaataa has been molesting children. I don't condone that either. But it's the thing, I don't know the story. I don't know the facts. I don't know if he did it or not. So I need people to stop being so quick to write these people off. Just because somebody decides to print a story in a magazine or in a newspaper or do it all over CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, wherever they want to put their little platform at. I need y'all to stop crucifying these people until we know the facts. Because people are really quick to lynch black people in the media. Just in general, like if we do something wrong or we even being accused of something wrong, we are the worst person on this planet. We should be dragged, we should be buried, we should be destroyed. But when the dude from 7 Heaven is being, this ain't even allegations. It's the evidence is right there. The evidence of him having child pornography and him even admitting to it. Everything points to, yes, this guy is guilty as fuck. Why is the Cosby Show off TV still, even after all of the charges are being dropped and he's winning all these cases? The Cosby Show has not returned to TV to the point of me recording this podcast. At this moment in time, that show has not been brought back to television. But 7 Heaven is still on ABC Family. I want to know, where's the fucking justice in that? Why is there no outrage? Why are people staying silent about this? So what makes you wonder, like, is it just because when you put a certain type of individual in the limelight, if you're a goody two shoes, let me not say that. If you're a good upstanding person and you're accused of doing something, not even convicted, there's no evidence, there's nothing like that. When you're accused of doing something in your past or present, without any type of evidence, without any type of conviction to say that, yeah, you did it, I'm trying to figure out, why is it that we're the ones that get dragged through the mud? Even if you are convicted for the situation, and it's like you did your time, you admitted you're wrong, and there's been time in between the situation and, this present day. You've done your time, you admitted you're wrong. I think you should be able to live your life. Case in point, depending on the severity of the situation, but that's all depending on jail time anyway. Case in point, Chris Brown. We all know what happened with Chris Brown and Rihanna from that shit happened 10 years ago at this point. It happened a long time ago. And Chris Brown, hitting a woman is always wrong unless you have to defend yourself. But in that case, I don't think Chris Brown was defending himself. So that happened a long time ago. He admitted his wrong. He did his time. He suffered enough. It's been about 10 years now. And I remember, because this is the point I always made. I actually wrote a report about this at school. And at the time, 'cause I know I had to be like a sophomore in high school or something. And I've just graduated college. I'm a year out of college. So, that's I'm a sophomore from high school, and, a year out from graduating college. That's a lot of time between the time. And I actually wrote a report about it. But basically, but Chris Brown has never been able to live past that. It's still jokes that get told. It's still, jokes from comedians is one thing. They bring up shit that, back from Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy and their heyday type shit. But, like this, I remember there was up until like maybe recently, because I don't even think Chris Brown even go to the Grammys no more. But like every year he went to the Grammys after the situation with Rihanna. It'd be like people like Pink will come out talking shit. CM Punk, some country singer. It's just everybody was like, every year after that, somebody would say, why the fuck is Chris Brown here? And then everybody jumps on the bandwagon. It's like, what shit, Chris Brown's a woman beater. He shouldn't be allowed at the Grammys. He shouldn't even be nominated. He should just go off somewhere. And I'll just be in my mind like, can y'all leave this man alone? It's like, damn, it's been 10 years. And I feel like there's still, there's going to be times where that comes up. Almost sometimes it makes me think like maybe he gets into the stupid trouble that he gets into to try to get his name associated with something else other than him and that Rihanna situation. And it's just like, but I remember that same exact year, later that year, because the Grammys was around like February, because I remember that situation happened around the Grammys time. That same year, like around December, because it happened around the Christmas holidays, Charlie Sheen had a woman by knife point. Well, he had his ex-wife by knife point. They were like in a vacation home. He had her by knife point, and she had called the police, and he was in the background of the 911 call talking about he was going to kill her. He was going to kill her. He was just, everything about that says you have it on tape. You have a recording of this man flipping the fuck out. And what happens? He gets a television show called Anger Management. After that situation, FX gave Charlie Sheen his own, had like another show, because he wasn't on 2.5 Men at the time. He had gotten kicked off because of his crazy behavior. So he gets kicked off of 2.5 Men, and now he's like out of work. He's flipping the fuck out. So he went at his wife, and they decide to give him reward him with another television show about his erratic behavior called Anger Management. That is the difference between being a black person in the media that does something wrong and a white person that does something wrong. I really can't think of too many examples of a white celebrity doing anything beyond murder and not getting a backstory to why they're doing this, not getting a benefit of the doubt of why they're doing this, or we feel sorry for him because this is going on in his life, or this happened to him in his life, and this is going on in his career, and all of this. They pull anything out their ass to defend the fact that this man is doing crazy shit, and Charlie Sheen is one of the main examples of that. He gets a backstory, and it makes you feel sympathy for that person to where you don't feel bad. You don't feel so like justified to just straight destroy this man's reputation. That's just Charlie Sheen. Like the fact that you just don't even have an excuse anymore, and you just use, oh well, that's Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen, that's just who he is. But when Chris Brown did what he didn't get a backstory. He didn't get context of, the fact that he had seen abuse in his family. Okay, it's not an excuse, but neither is the bullshit that you gave Charlie Sheen as an excuse. Neither is the guy from Seven Heaven. Oh, the fact they just ignored that. They just completely said, fuck, we got Bill Cosby to roast. We don't have time for the dude from Seven Heaven. I want people to look that up. I want y'all to really sit down with that story and say, hey, this motherfucker is a pedophile. Why is Seventh Heaven still on television, but the Cosby Show has been pulled from all networks? And then, let me track back because I got 10 minutes. So with Afrika Bambaataa, I said, I don't know the story of what's going on. I don't know the evidence. I don't know the facts. This time next year, all of these charges and all these allegations could be scrapped, could be dropped. But, KRS-One has been one of the few people, maybe the only person that has been vocal about saying, hey, he said the same thing. I don't know the facts of what's going on with this situation. I don't know if he did this or he didn't do this. But what I will say is I'm not going to leave his side until I know that he is guilty. And I remember reading the article, I think it might have been Complex or DJ Booth, or I really don't remember. I just remember saying, okay, y'all tripping. Because for the article title, I didn't even read it, but just the fact that the title says, for supporting Afrika Bambaataa, hip-hop needs to quit KRS-One. And I was like, no, fuck that. I love Boogie Down Productions. I love KRS-One. Y'all can go eat a dick. Because just because somebody is being accused of something does not make them guilty. Evidence, the court of law, and whether or not he is found guilty makes him guilty. Y'all can kiss my ass. Because I'm tired of seeing black people, black men especially, when somebody hears something about them, whether it's rape or child molestation or anything, murder, it cannot be taken as fact off of an accusation. And this is what I don't understand about black people in the community, is that we're so quick to take what other people say about us and call it fact. But when we accuse them of doing something crazy, they have every reason in the book to say otherwise. And we start to question it. We start to say, okay, maybe he didn't have child pornography on his computer. It was right there. Maybe Charlie Sheen didn't threaten to kill his ex-wife. It was on the fucking tape. We don't have any type of evidence, no type of... All we have is he say, she say. We have he say, she say with us. And it automatically is taken as fact because all types of media outlets are real quick to demonize us. And then you look at the people that I just named. Afrika Bambaataa, one of the founding members of hip-hop, and using hip-hop as a way to unify people and kill the violence in our neighborhoods. In the beginning of hip-hop and the formation, he was one of the people that led the charge to ending the violence that was plaguing the community with hip-hop. Nate Parker, like I said, you look at his rap sheet, he has not just been in movies, but he has been in movies that have shown us in better light than The Help, than The Butler, than 12 Years a Slave, than all of those other movies like Color Purple, and all those movies that may be good, but that's not our only story. Our only story isn't just slavery. He has made an effort to make movies that show us in a different light. Even the Nat Turner, rebellion that this new movie is going to be about. I want you to really, for people that don't know who Nat Turner is, he led one of the biggest slave rebellions of all time. And it's not just, Harriet Tubman, which, not taking away from what she was doing, but it's not just, we're going to sneak y'all out of the plantations. We're going to sneak you out of slavery and bring you to a safe place. No, these people said, we taking our freedom. We cutting the heads off of slave masters. We taking motherfuckers out. And it's like, that's the story they don't want to tell you. Like, you realize that out of all the stories that we've heard about slaves. The dude from 12 Years a Slave, I don't even know who the fuck that was, but I knew who Nat Turner was. I know who Nat Turner was, but I don't know. I still don't know who the fuck that dude is in 12 Years a Slave, because I plan on never watching that damn movie. You know, the fact that they want to do remake after remake of Roots, but there has not been a single, up until this point, there's not been a single TV show, movie, even, you know, straight to DVD, straight to Lifetime movie, BT movie of Nat Turner is ridiculous. And Nate Parker was going to put that, you know, to put that out and like make that be known. And the fact is that he was not, you know, before this movie comes out, now these allegations that are 17, almost 2 decades old, are coming out now that are threatening to ruin his reputation, and people are jumping all over it. Bill Cosby, you know, I've had my reserves for Bill Cosby, so I'm not even that big of a Bill Cosby fan. You know, his influence cannot be questioned. You know, but his comments about the youth and his comments about hip-hop have always rubbed me the wrong way. But even I was not going to be so quick to demonize Bill Cosby until I know the facts. And I'm glad I didn't, because I want y'all to know that even if y'all come out now and try to give him his props, you can't take back the jokes, you can't take back the filthy things that you have said about these people. The same goes for Africa Bambaataa, Nate Parker. You cannot take this stuff back. What you say is already out there in the universe. It is already all over the internet. It's already there. So you can't just say, oops, my bad. Maybe I shouldn't have accused you of all these terrible things. So if it comes out later that Nate Parker can survive this situation, just like if Africa Bambaataa, all of the charges of him get dropped. And if everything that happened to Bill Cosby, I don't know. I think at this point, everything is pretty much over with, and all the charges and stuff has either been dropped or he's been acquitted and all the other stuff. Until after that happens, the next black person, including myself, I plan on being in the limelight pretty soon. I just want to let y'all know that I don't really have too many skeletons in my closet. They're going to really have to try hard to destroy my reputation. You know, so I want y'all to know from the time I record this podcast, just let them know. I'm going to let y'all know. If y'all accuse me, if y'all let them accuse me of anything, and then it comes out later that I was innocent, and y'all were so ready to drag me through the mud up until that point, there ain't going to be no goddamn oops, my bad. It's going to be fuck you forever. I don't care if you die, I piss on your grave. That's going to be my response. So I just want black people to know that we are being hunted. Y'all know that we are being hunted out here. We are being destroyed, not just physically. We're not just being shot by the cops, but when we have people that are trying to come up and be upstanding, non-loving hip-hop type of motherfuckers, we need to do better at protecting them. Give them the benefit of the doubt until the evidence comes out. And don't be so quick to destroy this person's name until you know, because you will never be able to take it back. So don't be so quick to point the finger. Now that has been I'm running out of time. That has been the 10th episode of the Dangerous Minds podcast. I'm still doing my email list contest. Head over to www.vinnydangerous.com. If you don't know the details, or follow me on Facebook, Twitter, everything is Vinny Dangerous. And I'm doing a couple shows this month on the 26th to 27th. And I have a show that's about to drop September 24th. It's Vinny Dangerous Live Part 2. I might call it something else. I don't know. But I just wanted to get that off my chest. I want to say that until Nate Parker, until more evidence is shown this man being, guilty, he's innocent in my eyes, and he should be in y'all's too. It's been real. Your boy Vinny Dangerous. It's been a Dangerous Minds podcast, and we out.